Hey everybody, so in this video what we're going to be doing is going over the polynomial equation solver on your Ti-84. So here is a random problem that we have from pre-calculus, and they want you to find all the zeros of this polynomial. Now the reason this is useful is because on the calculator section of the AP test, if you're ever asked to say find where the tangent lines have a slope of 0, you know that the equation, the numerator has to be equal to 0, or if they said find where your tangent lines are vertical, you know your denominator has to be equal to 0. But let's say you had like a crazy thing on either the numerator or the denominator. So you've done your derivatives and you come up with something like this. It looks, this would be a lot to do by hand because you would have to remember the rational root theorem, then you would have to try synthetic division, and then you would have to do all your factoring. So this would be a lot to do by hand, and there's no reason to do that if we have a calculator. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that app, the polynomial solver on the Ti-84, and we're going to find all the zeros of this polynomial. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my calculator, and I'm going to be looking for this button right here. So it says apps. It is right next to the math key. So I'm going to tap that. Now, depending on what software you have in yours, your polynomial solver may be on number 8, and it'll say PolySolve. If you have one of the newer 84s, so this emulator is the Ti-84CE, it will be number 9, and it will say Poly Simulator 2. And we see something like this. And we're going to keep it simple, polynomial root finder. We just want to find all the zeros. So I'm going to hit number 1. And if we go back, ours had a degree of 5 right here. So on my calculator, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say this has a degree of 5, and I'm just going to hit enter. Now, we don't really have to worry about all this other stuff because that automatically kind of goes in. If we were dealing with any trig whatsoever, we would want to make sure we're in radians. So since we are not, this is strictly a polynomial and all I'm doing is finding the zeros, degree is fine. Now, you see right here where it says main, help, and next. On your calculator, this corresponds to these buttons here. So because main is the far left button, that's going to be y equals, and I kind of have 2 spaces right here. So Windows and Zoom isn't really going to do anything. Trace is the help, and then next is graph. So I'm going to hit graph for next, and then here I'm going to type in my coefficients from my polynomial. So we know that it was 6 x to the 5th, and then we had nothing on the 4th degree. For the 3rd degree, we had a -8. Do not hit minus, right? It will tell you that's an error. Watch, I'll prove it. -8, enter, invalid input, and you'll say, oh no, I don't know what to do. All right, that has to be negative. So we have -8x to the 3rd, and then we had positive 9x squared, and then this a sub 0 was -12. Do not hit -12. Well, actually, let's see, since it knows that that one is minus, yep, invalid input, not going to let you do it. So we go here and -12. All right, that is our polynomial that we had. Now you see how you have all these 5 buttons at the bottom. That corresponds to these. We want to solve. So we're going to hit graph. And here are all of your zeros. So you have one at 1.15, -1.15, -1.145. So these look really, really close to each other. And then you see this weird little thing right here where you have some number plus this decimal. This, if you go back and do this by hand, this was probably some fraction plus a square root. And then you had some fraction minus the square root. So you won't really see something like that on the test. I'm going to make sure that you'll have actual numbers. I just wanted y'all to have the process of solving this. All right, that is going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, please let me know.